Hello, welcome to Chapter 3 Podcast, the show for readers of science fiction, fantasy, and romance. This is Season 2, Episode 14, and today, all three of us are here, which is very exciting, to talk about Bridgerton Season 2, and I can tell you this is probably going to be a spicy episode because we have a variety of opinions on the show, so yeah, enjoy. Hi, Izzy, Leanna, you're both here together. It's so exciting.
I can't believe you allowed us back in the same thing together. I just figured about that. He was like, absolutely not.
Like never the twain shall meet. No, I love
this is like a universe-breaking paradox thing that's not supposed to happen because then it'll be the end of the world.
I think it's great. So Bridgerton, I know we have a variety of feelings, so we can go around and share. Also, Izzy, I know you just watched both seasons back to back for the first time.
Yep. Sure.
And maybe tell everybody, have you read any of the books? What did you see? And general thoughts.
So I avoided episode season 1 because of the whole sexual assault thing and the way in which people were acting about it and like trying to deny it happening. And I'm like, no, it's literally in the book because I read the books in 2018. So I haven't read all of them, but I remember nothing.
Okay.
I remember reading that scene in 2018 and being stunned because no one anywhere that I had read a review had mentioned it. And I remember like prepping everyone I know who were reading. I think I did it to you, Bethany, even. Like, anyone I know, I was like, listen, you need to know this is in here because you're not expecting it. It's a historical romance. But I enjoyed season 1 for the most part, and I enjoyed season 2 for the most part. I have quibbles with both. I also just like, can we just have a consistent episode length, please and thank you? My ADHD can't handle it. I'm like, when is this over? Why is this episode
Netflix
10 minutes?
Netflix just does that because they don't have ads.
It just drives me bonkers. I'm like, I need to know when I'm done so I can like know I can leave before I like wander away mid-episode, which can happen sometimes.
Gosh.
I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so middle of the road. Liked some things, didn't like others. Leanna.
I mean, are we talking about both seasons? Is that the?
Yeah, we can kind of. We're gonna focus more on season 2, but we can talk season 1 a little bit as well.
Well, like everyone is surprised that I watched Bridgerton, and I kind of accidentally started watching Bridgerton because, like, when season 1 came out, I was at my parents' house because it was around Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. When season 1 came out, and my mom and I were gonna like, do the hour of searching all of the internet for what to watch. We went to Netflix, and like, how Netflix starts already playing a preview of as soon as like your cursor hits it. So I mean, she and I watch a lot of like Masterpiece Theater and Regency type things, so like it started playing a bit of that. I was like, what's this? She was like, oh, I think I heard about it. I think this just came on to Netflix. And it like played a bit, and I was like, this looks like a thing we'd watch, like let's give that a go. And then like Regé-Jean Page entered the frame, and we were like, we are watching this tonight. We watched like 5 episodes the first night, and it got a lot spicier than I knew it would be, but we were already watching it. So
yeah.
So season 2 came around, and I heard that Regé-Jean Page would not be in it, and I was like, I mean, do we care about watching it?
Valid.
But like my mom was like, yeah, let's watch it. So I was like, okay, like let's watch it. So my mom and I watched almost all of it together, but then it was Oscar night, so she had to rush home to watch the Oscars, and I finished it by myself. And I maintain that season 1 was better, and not just because of Regé-Jean Page, although largely because of Regé-Jean Page. But I will say, like,
you've not read the books, right?
No, not at all. And I was gonna say, like, I originally thought that like seeing Anthony, the brother, as like the romantic lead, having seen him in the first season, I was like, not only is he not reggae, he's also just like, he's very extremely not reggae. He's like, I'm zero interested in this. So I do think he was actually a lot better as a romantic lead than I expected or even dared hope. So like he actually, I was like, okay, like that was actually fine. Like you're okay as a romantic lead. That was fine.
Yeah, I didn't know how I would feel about him as a romantic lead after, even though I'd read the book, like I'd read book 2, I was still like, I don't know how I feel about this actor as the romantic lead.
Well, they got rid of the mutton chop, so he got instantly sexier.
True. I still cannot tell the boys apart, though. I will.
Really?
I'm a little bit better on season 2, but like all of season 1, I was like, I don't know who any of you Bridgerton boys are.
So
Colin
funny.
is the dumb one, and Benedict is the one we like. That's how I told them
Benedict
apart.
is like the gay angsty one. Like,
Yeah.
I know he's not
Or
actually gay, but he gives me
bi-curious
very like
or something.
bi-curious energy. Yes,
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
Basically, Benedict and Eloise are the reason that I'm still watching, because the two of them I enjoy, both separately and together. So that's how I tell the other brothers apart. Like, you are not Benedict, is what you are.
Yeah. It took me a while to get there.
Yeah.
Finally, I was like, okay, I got you. Like by the end of this season, I was like, all right, we're good.
So I think I'm definitely generally the biggest fan of season 2. I had read book 1 before I watched season 1. I kind of knew what was coming and I liked it. Most Reggae John Page was a big part of that. And I've read the first 5 books in the series and have had issues with all of them. Honestly, I loved season 2. I liked it better than the book. Like, I just don't have a problem with the choices I like the choices they made for the show, but I understand that is a controversial take. So we're gonna talk about it and unpack it because I know we have a variety of opinions. But yeah, I really loved season 2.
I will say I did actually like everybody made me so nervous about the changes, and I was like, these are fine. They make sense. We're doing diverse casting. We shouldn't necessarily like keep some of the things that happen. Like maybe just a little bit.
Well, also, I just think it's kind of it's not that interesting of a book. Like, I didn't find book 2 to be that exciting anyway, and I think they kept the good parts.
I remember liking it more than book 1 when I read it in 2018. So that's about all I remember about it, though. Yeah. But I don't feel like they're very memorable books.
I haven't read any of the books, but after I watched this season, I looked up, what is, like, so I haven't read it. I don't know, like, narratively how it comes across, but like what plot beats happen in the book as compared to the plot beats in the show. So like, I know they like the Cliff Notes version of the differences. And when you say that it's boring, like, I can see why that would be uninteresting. It's just not bonkers. And so like the idea that you'd want to change it or spice it up, just that we are changing it, sure, but the changes that they made are bananas. So I'm not on board with those changes.
I don't mind it. I was expecting high drama though too, because like season 2 feels much more like a Shondaland show to me than season 1 did, because they stayed a lot closer to the book for season 1. Her shows tend to be very high drama, wild twists type things.
Time out.
Yeah.
You are coming in and out for me internet-wise. Like, I can barely hear half of your words.
We lost her. Have you watched Shondaland shows before? Like, have you seen Scandal? So it's interesting because Leanna hasn't either. I want to talk about this because I
No, that'll be a good point. My entire problem hinges on that I care about everyone but the main couple.
What? Oh my gosh. I
enjoyed Daphne and Simon in season 1.
I guess we could talk about this. I know Leanna's not on here, but I could just include this. Like, we can just include it. It's fine because it is recording. We lost Leanna, but hopefully she'll be back. Yeah, no, I like the angst and the longing. It feels more like Jane Austen-ish, that level of like slow burn, longing glances.
That makes sense. No, and I like that. Like, I love the Jane Austen miniseries with Colin Firth, and I like the movie. Like, I actually like both Jane Austen not Pride and Prejudice movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I like both of them for different reasons. And I do feel like both of the seasons have called to that, if that makes sense. But I don't feel like it's just interesting and it's weird. Yeah. I know I'm weird that I actually like generally I'm like I care more about the whole family dynamics and all the other stuff happening than I do about the main couple.
I mean, I think that's fine. I love the family dynamics. I think in the books, that's my favorite thing that keeps me reading them, even when I have issues with the couples.
Every single one.
Sometimes. The lack of good consent in every book. Okay.
Oh,
Leanna. Oh. Hello.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah, better.
So we were chatting a little bit while you were off, which I'm just going to include it in the episode. So one thing that I was asking Izzy that I know I've asked you before is whether either of you have ever seen any other Shondaland shows like Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder.
No, I have not. Well, I did watch like a couple episodes of How to Get Away with Murder.
I think I've seen like snippets of How to Get Away with Murder.
Okay, but not significantly. I haven't actually seen How to Get Away with Murder, but have watched Scandal. But the thing is like, I do wonder a bit, because I was sort of expecting that at some point the show would get more dramatic with this level of twists and interpersonal things that happen, because that's kind of what her shows are like, and I don't mind that, but I do wonder a little bit, like, I just wonder how much that sets expectations if you know, aren't familiar with that kind of approach to it.
I could see that affecting it for sure, and definitely like not having experience with her shows before and how they generally work, being a little put off by season 2.
But I mean, I don't know. I watch a lot of quote unquote bad television that I have a great capacity for. Shows being ridiculous or being over the top or having extreme twists and bizarre things happening. They just have to still like it in their own universe and their own logic of things, which I just accept that this is a strange universe, a more dramatic universe. And even then, like, it has to within itself sell me and make sense to me.
Okay, so maybe let's talk about this. Like, what were because I do want to hear, like, what were things that you guys didn't like about it?
Who wants to go first?
I mean, I liked nothing about it pretty much after it diverged massively from the book. It massively diverges in the like beasting in the garden moment. Like that point onward, it's like a different story. You could have taken it in a different direction from the book. Like, that's fine. It's not like I'm a purist. I didn't even read it. But like, there's just so many things about how the characters behave that makes it so hard for me to sympathize with really any of them, but in particular the sisters. The way that they behave after that, they don't have to get married after a beasting. It's not like I needed that to happen halfway through the show. But like, first of all, the fact that the younger sister, does love him in this version of things, whereas in the book I understand that she doesn't. Like, there's like a courtship, but like she's not actually falling for him. So like, there's none of that. And the way that like that all shakes out in the show, I was like,
6 episodes.
Horrible.
Yeah. 6 whole freaking episodes leading this poor girl on. I have big issues.
And I mean, I have issues with both of them at that point, the sister, and I mean, at least I have slightly less issues with Anthony, because he was still going to go through with this, because he, in his mind, was like, this is the best logical choice for me to marry this girl. It always has been. It still is. This is what I'm choosing because I think it's practical. So he's not leading her on in that sense. Like, he's leading her on, I guess, because she thinks he loves her. And he's like, well, I don't hate you. Like, I mean, I love you in a way. Like, it's passionate, but like, he cares for her. He likes her. And he's like, I think I can build a life with you. And he's like being quite open about what he wants and how he's going to do it. And the sister, in the first place, how much she hates him when she just learns that he wants to have a practical marriage. She acts like she found out he murdered somebody. I was like, take it down a notch. You can be, I don't like you. You can be like, I don't like you for my sister. But it's like so extreme, the hatred. And I'm like, Lizzie Bennet had good reason to hate Mr. Darcy. And none of that was actually true. But like, what she thought she knew about Mr. Darcy, that's a good reason to hate him. But what Kate thinks she knows about Antony is a reason to be like, I kind of don't like you. I don't like your attitude. But like, she acts like he's a horrible human being. And I'm like, that is too much. It's not cute, bantery, hate to love. Like, that's too much.
See, I just disagree. Like, I don't think it's
on, because I'm very curious.
Well, the thing of her not liking him for those reasons is very much part of the book. And I think, to me, it makes a lot of sense, because she knows her sister wants a love match. And so she wants that for her. But I think it's heightened by the fact that she is in denial about the fact that she's got chemistry with him. And so I think that's her like defense mechanism, is lashing out that way. I don't take it as actual hate, but she can't see that. Like, it takes so long for her to be able to be self-aware enough to recognize it. And, you know, I think both of them really believe they're doing the best thing for their families. So to me, both of them were very similar characters in a lot of ways. And both of them, all the way leading up to the wedding, were doing what they thought was right and best and trying to protect their family while denying what they truly wanted. Was it a great choice? No. Was it very melodramatic for television purposes where it's like at the altar, which obviously in real life would be just ridiculous? Yeah, but like for me at least, like the bones of it works as a story.
I mean, I don't think it doesn't work to an extent, but I just like I struggled with the fact that it was 6 episodes of dragging poor Edwina along through misery. And that's what bothered me the most, I think. I was just like, if this was done in episode 4, I would have been fine.
But then what do you do? Like that's the whole
I
tension.
mean, honestly,
like,
I think
what
that
do
you
you
could
do
just
with
been 6 episodes cut out. That's kind of what I feel like though. Is like if we would have cut 2-ish episodes, we could have gotten through all the plot without torturing poor Edwina. Like it just made me mad. I'm not mad about the bee scene. I really don't care that he didn't suck the venom out of her boob. Like it's fine. But I just was like, this poor girl.
Yeah. But also the fact that it did get that far is what lets her finally also find her own voice and figure out what she wants and stand up for it. So I actually really liked, I mean, yeah, it's painful to watch, but also like I really liked what it did for her character arc.
But the way she figures out that the two of them have the hots for each other was also absurd. They glanced at each other slightly longer when they're already at the altar, and she's like, upon this concrete proof, I know that you are in love with each other, and I must now flee from the altar in front of the queen. Like, at least, like, if she had seen some kind of, like, I don't know, like, if there had been a contrived MacGuffin-like thing established in an earlier episode where there was, like, a piece of jewelry or, like, a letter or something that she could see, realize that, like, this is actual proof, like, there's something between them, or you could look at that and be like, I know this means. But, like, they just, like, look at each other slightly longer, and she's like, I cannot! And,
it's
like,
not
runs
just
away.
but it's not just that they look at each other longer. It's that he goes to help her when she drops her bracelet. He's literally getting married to her, and his gut reaction when she is to, like, be so focused in on when she drops that bracelet, jump and reach for it. I don't know.
How do you not notice their chemistry? Everyone else noticed their chemistry.
Well, she was in denial because she was into him.
But so then why does she notice it now?
I mean, I don't know the logic on that one either. But
I don't care. I loved it.
it was just like too long.
Yeah.
And again, like talking
about
the same
like, issue with season 1.
With like what they were going for, you know, where you were saying, oh, they're very similar characters and they're trying to do what's right and they're wrong about it and whatever. She is a lot crueler and more inconsistent. He's like, I want to marry this girl. It's the right thing to do for my family, for my position. I don't want love because that causes pain. I know what I'm doing. Kind of have the hots for her, but I'm marrying her. The sister is like, I'm into him. I hate him. I want her to get a love match. And he seems into her and she seems into him. But I'm going to stand in the way of that. But then I'm also going to be mad if he's not going to propose to her because that upsets my sister, even though I've done everything in my power to try to get him to not propose to her and chase him away. And then Lady Danbury, she also asks Kate, she's like, what are you doing? Why are you purposely trying to ruin this for your sister? Are you trying to ruin this for your sister? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, thank you. What are you doing? Like, either tell your sister this is why you shouldn't be with him,
conflicted.
Or stop messing around.
She feels conflicted about it. Like she's torn between what she wants and what she believes is her duty. That's like the whole thing. And he is too. You know, he's having these moments where he like almost kisses her and then pulls himself back at the last moment. Like they're doing the same shit. Like both of them are doing the same thing. I don't know. I just
don't disagree. They are kind of doing the same. Like I see both sides of this. I really feel like the middle. I'm just like, what's up? I'm in the middle. I love Lady Danbury and continue to adore her.
Me too.
And Miss Bridgerton or Lady Bridgerton, whatever her name is, the mom. Just their whole relationship with just the best, the absolute best.
I love it. Well, and I also love that it's a show that has great roles for older women because I feel like that's not a thing we see a lot of, and that's a lot of fun.
Agreed.
And I love Eloise.
I love Eloise too. She is great. I really hope she gets a different arc than what she gets in her book.
I was so disappointed to learn that they invented Prince Shop Guy for the show, which means he can't be Endgame because they just made him up for the season. And I was like, but I like Prince Shop Guy.
Yeah, I like him too, but like also I think Eloise is kind of queer coded. It would be cool to see. I don't know. We'll see what they do with her. But
because they're changing stuff, which I do appreciate. That they're like, I have the hot take that like everything adapted from a book doesn't have to match the book, and
No.
like sometimes it's better to like play with it and make it different for formats, because like reading a book and a TV, it's two different things. Like, you know what I mean? It shouldn't always be a direct translation.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and have you read, did you read book 5? That's Eloise's book.
I don't think so. I think I stopped after book 2 or 3.
It was my least favorite of all of them.
No one
by far.
I know. I don't think most people I know didn't like it. Yeah, I stopped after book 2 because I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah, it's not great. So, okay, so here's the thing. In the book, she's a spinster and then strikes up a correspondence with Sir Philip, who is the guy who's currently married to Marina.
Okay.
And in the book, he had married a woman named Marina who had mental health problems and died by suicide when their twins were pretty young. And then Eloise ends up striking up a correspondence with him. He proposes to her, and so she goes to see if it'll work out, and they end up together. But he's kind of awful and more interested in his flowers and plants than in her, and like isn't actually like, I was like, she deserves so much better. And so
we
kind
saw
of don't
him in the
well,
show.
that's the thing, is we saw him in the show, so that's, I'm wondering, I'm like, are they going to do the same thing? Like, I really hope they do something different for Eloise's character, because I just think she deserves so much better than that.
Like print shop guy.
And Marina deserves better too.
Yeah. It's just like it's weird because like they also said they might not follow the book order. And I did feel like this season was weirdly setting us up for Penelope and Colin.
I think
next
so.
season.
Yeah.
Instead of Benedict, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Okay.
They're alphabetically
I know they're all
named.
Alphabet names, but the B one, the B one.
Yeah.
I'll call them Ben, so it's fine. Yeah, I was like, that's weird. We're gonna like, and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of open to this. Kind of open to it. Yeah, I thought I would read all the books, and then I gave up after 2. I was like, I just have too many issues.
There's consent issues in almost all of them, so that's fun.
Yeah, I wish I was surprised, but I'm not. The first book really just set the tone on that for me. I was like, gonna notice consent.
I mean, the first one is worse than the other ones, but none of the Bridgerton siblings are great about consent. So
it's a family trait.
Oh no.
I'm glad they're not doing that in the show though. They had it in season 1, but I'm glad they haven't continued on.
Wait, so what's the consent thing issue in the book for this one, for Antony's story?
I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I read that one.
Hold on, let me go look up Bethany's review. See if she says it.
I might have said something. At some point, I think at some point he like pressures her into having a physical relationship and sort of acts like, oh, I can tell that you want this because of how you're responding, even though you're saying no. It was that kind of a deal, if I remember correctly.
Once they're married, Anthony gets pushy with Kate in the bedroom, and the consent in that first scene is a bit fuzzy at times.
Yeah.
That's what you say, so.
Yeah. I think there were moments where she was like not saying she necessarily wanted things.
I think I complained about this to you already, Bethany, but the very, very end of the show, when they're sucking each other's faces off in front of the family trying to play pell-mell, I was like, can you not? Like, that is so rude.
Oh my God, I had the same problem. I was like, ew.
I was like, in front of your little siblings? Like, please stop.
Especially when Anthony is like such a father figure for Gregory and Hyacinth. Like, come on, no, behave yourself.
I don't know. I didn't like that. Didn't bother me. But again, I think I told you this, Leanna. Part of it is because I think when my husband and I first got married, we did a lot of PDA.
Well, I would have told you to knock it off.
We eventually did, because it became less of a novelty, I guess. But
it's because you were freed from the bonds of staying pure.
You were like, I mean, honestly, yeah. Former evangelical problems, you know.
Makes sense. I get it. Yeah, that part bugged me too at the end. It just took so long to see them together, and like I wanted a little more of them together, which is what we got in season 1.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get them together in season 3 though.
Will we though?
I think so. I think they're both signed on. Like I think the only reason we didn't get the first couple is Reggae John Page didn't want to sign on for season 2.
Which I get also. Like it is, I mean, it's a romance. Like in romance books, we don't often get to see if it's following a family, the couple that much in book 2 from book 1.
Yeah.
You'll see like snippets usually.
I mean, of the two of them, I think it was more important to see Daphne than Simon. Like, if you had to choose one of them not coming back, like Daphne is part of the family.
Yeah. Well, but also Francesca's just gone this whole season.
Oh yeah.
There's no Francesca.
Wait, who?
Oh, you're right.
The F named child.
Yeah, I know, you're right. I hadn't even like thought about that. She's like basically not in it.
I saw somebody commenting on it and it cracked me up. I was like, oh my God, you're right. She's not in this. They just forgot a whole child. She's got so many. They're very hard to wrangle.
It's true. Oh no. So I do want to talk to you about Penelope. People are nasty about her, I feel like.
About the Lady Whistledown stuff or about something else?
Like about her and also towards the actress, which makes me nervous for when she gets
surprised.
Yeah.
I love her and it makes me mad.
I know. Well, and I'm also happy to hear apparently, because one thing I was nervous about in the books, the thing that makes Colin finally notice Penelope is she loses a bunch of weight, which sort of sucks. And so I was like, I really hope they don't go that direction for the show. And somebody had said that the showrunners confirmed that she will not be losing weight for the show. So I'm hoping that instead it's like a fashion makeover, that she starts being able to spend her Lady Whistledown money and like get some like nicer dresses, you know, like
not neon colored.
I mean, that would be good.
It's the plastic flowers for me. It's doing her no favors. No. Oh, there was I loved that moment when, is it Edwina that compliments Penelope's dress and she's like, asks if she has a sense of humor. Because she's like, no, I like it. She's like, okay, sure.
I mean, it would look beautiful on Edwina, I feel like, compared to Penelope. Drowning in neon.
Oh my gosh. Well, and Nicola, like the actress is beautiful. So I feel like if they would put her, she's great. So I really hope they do that she gets a fashion glow up, and that's what makes Colin take notice of her.
That's those sisters and the mom very much give like Cinderella stepsister stepmom dresses vibes.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
100%.
And the third cover is like isn't it like a slipper on it or something? I think the old version.
Yeah, well,
because I was like, that would be perfect for Penelope's book. It's like a Cinderella-y thing.
So Benedict's book is a Cinderella retelling.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I stopped. I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I thought people like, if you haven't watched Dairy Girls, by the way, I highly recommend it because Nicole is in that. And she's hilarious in it. But yeah, I think it's interesting seeing how people react to some of it. And I texted my friend who'd read all the books, and I was like, is Lady Whistledown the same in the books or no? And she's like, no. And I was like, okay, cool.
Well, she's the same character.
No, it's not the same person in the books that writes them.
Yeah, it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's like a whole big part of the conflict with her and Colin is that he finds out that she's Lady Whistledown and is like, I don't know if I can trust you.
I thought it was a different character for some reason.
Aren't they going to have to change a lot moving forward? Because there's like Eloise and her don't have this like finding out and being angry. That doesn't happen.
I mean, they kind of, so it's different in the book, but
it's not this early.
No, it's not this early. I've heard some people say that they're wondering if they're gonna combine Penelope and Eloise's seasons into one. Because at the because Eloise's book begins with her running off to the country right before Penelope and Colin get married. She misses their wedding because she's upset that her best friend is getting married and she's alone.
What a terrible friendship move.
Not great.
I mean, it's not great. No. I told you, it's my least favorite of the books.
I also just like, I mean, I don't know what she's like in the books as compared to the show, but I just feel like Eloise from the show would never do that. would never be like,
No.
"You're getting married before me. I'm sad." Runs to the like Eloise would be
Well,
like
it
reading a
wasn't
book
that she
during
was-
the ceremony.
So in the books, it's not that she's getting married before her. At this point, Eloise is like a confirmed spinster. She's like 30 or something. And
Mhm.
she wants to be unmarried and thinks Penelope is going to be with her unmarried into their older years. So that's
Which feels
what-
very Eloise though, because like I feel like she doesn't, and I don't mean this is bad. This is just something that happens with people sometimes, right? Like she doesn't always think
Mhm.
about what her friends want. She just assumes they all want the same thing she wants.
That's true.
Sometimes. I still love her. It's not
I
like
do
a full
too.
critique. It's just one of the things that I've noticed. I feel like that she
Yeah.
just kind of no regard for what anyone else thinks. She's like, no, you're absolutely doing this with me. What do you mean you're not doing this with me?
Yeah. I do kind of love for her though this thing of getting involved with political radicals and maybe having a forbidden
Well,
romance.
it was definitely it was giving Sybil from Downton Abbey, like
Yeah.
when she
Yes.
and then she even
It
falls in
was.
love with a radical. So like print shop guy, I was like the
Mhm.
chauffeur. I had high
Yes.
hopes for this.
Yeah. I kind of hope they do take her character arc in a different direction and do some of that with her because I just think it would be a lot more interesting. But I
Yeah.
love Penelope and I just really want her to have a great season and people not be super fat phobic about her as an actress because that sucks.
Well, yeah.
Agreed.
But also, like, within the show, I can't help but side with Eloise when she's pissed about learning that she's Lady Whistledown and the ways that has affected people that they know. And is like, you're the villain. How do you sleep at night? How did you do that to people that we know and care about?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I think in the books it's less severe, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. Like with
Yeah,
Lady
I don't
Whistle,
feel like the first 2 books, Lady Whistledown stuff, was that as cruel as it is
it
in the
was
show.
yeah. They've definitely stepped it up.
Which, like, in the show, then to redeem that character and make her still sympathetic when Lady Whistledown has been doing some pretty effed up things. You're gonna have to do a lot to win his back on that, though, because I'm with Eloise. That's kind of unforgivable.
I mean, I don't know that I would go so far as to say unforgivable because I don't know, like I guess I like have a lot of empathy for Penelope because she's just in such a crappy situation.
But the way she outed Thomasina, Miss Thompson, I always want to call her Thomasina.
Oh,
Miss Thompson. I just make it Thompson into a girl name and
Marina.
Marina. The way
Marina.
she outed Marina. Like that's
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's fucked up.
No, that wasn't great.
No, yeah.
But I also think like it's that whole thing too where you just wonder what she's squirreling the money away for and
For
stuff
different
too. And is she trying to like get out of the
I mean, I think she wants to have freedom.
to get out.
Her
Like I
family.
kind of can sympathize with that part of it.
Yeah.
I think
it's more of
surprising
the
she didn't-
power. I mean, she likes the money,
Yeah.
but you see, like, she enjoys the power of being.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when
Yeah.
Eloise was like, wait a minute, because of what she was saying like to her when they were at the ball. And I was like, have you never like they've done this in other seasons as well. Penelope's sitting there like making commentary about people at the balls. I feel
Yeah.
like that happened in season 1 too.
But she
Just make
finally
her-
put it together.
Yeah.
So
like, they put it
Eloise
together.
had an Edwina Sharma moment where she suddenly makes a connection that she really should have made many, many episodes ago.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't made the connection because I just wasn't thinking about them revealing Lady Whistledown already, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously, I made the connection very quickly when we saw her at the print shop,
Yeah.
but I hadn't thought about it that way. Yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah.
They show a lot of that teenage friendship angst and like
Yes.
coming of age.
Yeah.
Yes, if that makes sense.
I agree.
Where
Which
you
I
fuck
mean, I
up,
think
you make mistakes.
you do. You have fights and you do things that you shouldn't do and you have to try to make up for it or hope that people forgive you. I mean, I guess that's the thing is it's like, yeah, are they making bad choices? Sure. But it just doesn't bother me because I think that's very
But I mean, their
human.
choices that she's making aren't just limited to like interpersonal reactions. This is like with the queen is involved. You're outing your friends and family to the ton at large and ruining people's lives. That's not just like, I was angsty teenager and said some messed up things. Can you forgive me?
But Leanna, have you seen Gossip Girl? I mean, okay, no. I'm just saying it's giving me like toned down Regency Gossip Girl. Because it's the same thing. Gossip Girl, the whole point is people outing people for stuff because they want to get back at people, or they want social clout, or they're pushing back on bullies, or they just want attention or whatever, and it does hurt people and they have to deal with it. But I guess that's the thing, is like, to me this feels like a toned down Regency version of Gossip Girl, the stuff that's happening with it.
but like, because
Yeah,
the
I don't
stakes are so
disagree.
much higher here, because like women can't own property, women can't inherit money, and like, they literally have to like get a good
Yeah.
marriage or they're fucked for life. So like,
People
those are the
go
stakes.
but people go to prison in Gossip Girl. The
I'm never gonna
stakes
watch
are not
Gossip Girl, that
low.
sounds awful.
I'm just saying, like, the stakes are high in that too. People are committing felonies and like go to prison. Like, it's not, you know. I guess I just think I've seen this kind of thing in shows before, and I do
Mhm.
find it compelling, because I think people, you know, I mean, it's over dramatized for TV, but I also think that there is something to it. Like, I guess I feel for Penelope too, because like, how many people who were bullied as teenagers and ignored, part of them would like to be able to hurt the people who hurt them.
She's
you know?
not just hurting the people that hurt her, she's hurting, like, that's why Eloise gets mad. She's like,
Right.
you wrote about your own family, you wrote about my family, you wrote about people that you call friends.
But her family hurt her too, you know?
The Bridgertons.
Oh, the
didn't hurt
Bridgerton.
her.
Yeah. No, but I mean, the only really bad thing with the Bridgertons that she wrote about was Eloise, and she thought she was doing the right thing to save her. I mean, she didn't. It ended up being worse, I think, but I think her intentions were.
I mean, she wrote about Daphne, and she wrote about Simon, and she wrote about.
Well, she had to
Anthony
write
and-
about everybody, or people would guess maybe
Yeah.
who she is.
And
But
that's
I
the
don't.
other thing, is
She,
you have
but like,
to-
she didn't write dramatically bad stuff.
I think she was meaner to her mom's outfit choices than
Yeah.
anybody else to an extent. Now, well, what she did to Eloise obviously was terrible. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that's not,
yeah.
but I do think in some ways she was meaner to other people than she was to the Bridgerton family.
I'm not saying she was
Like-
the most cruel to the Bridgerton, but just the the idea that, oh, she's getting back at people who've hurt her, but like, it's not just people who hurt her. If it's
Well, yeah.
all
I mean, it was worse to people who
open
hurt her,
season.
but it was like, some of it was covering her tracks, right? Because she doesn't want to be discovered, so she has to write about everybody.
I
to
would
some
just
extent.
like to also point out that you're defending this behavior, but you have a problem with Jade City because there's people doing, morally gray things because they're like in a gang, and you're like,
No, it's
"Why would I
because
root
they're.
against you against the people. Well, why are you rooting for Penelope?
It's not because they're in a gang. It's because they were protecting a pedophile.
That's the only reason you didn't like Hilo.
I just didn't like him. It wasn't like a moral thing. I disliked him. You know?
Okay.
It was,
Interesting.
I found him
I need to read
irritating.
Jade City still. So now I'm like, will I also follow the myth? Probably.
I think that it's compelling what Penelope's doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's more that I'm trying how you make that redeemable. Like, I find it great reading about characters that do bad things, so that's interesting. And
Yeah.
it's not like I don't get why this happened. But if you're going to write a story where you're supposed to explain it away as like, but it's actually fine that she's doing this. No, it's not fine that she's doing this. It's interesting that she's doing this. It is not fine that she's doing this.
Well, and that's the thing, is I don't think it's fine, everything she's doing, but also I don't need that for her to find love. In some ways, I sort of like the thing of somebody loving her, knowing all of that regardless. I see that you are a flawed person, and I still love and accept you no matter what. I like that as a love story.
There's being a flawed person, and if you said the Collins thing is that he's like, how can I trust you? I'd be like, exactly. Like, that would be the thing in a relationship where I'd be like, okay, I might love you, but I can't trust you. How could I ever trust you?
I guess we'll see. Next season, maybe. So, any final thoughts on season 2 of Bridgerton before we move on?
I hated it.
And I loved it. There you go.
I thought it was fine. Like, literally, it was fine.
And I mean, I think you see this reflected in the general consensus around it is people are really split. Like, there are people who hated it.
Yeah,
for
I
a variety
feel
of
like the
reasons.
weirdo who's like, it was fine. Like, there are things I liked, there are things I hated.
I see a lot of people loving it or hating it for various reasons.
And I can see both sides of it.
Well, I don't know if we came to any conclusions, but hopefully, listeners, this was an interesting conversation. We're going to move into On My Radar, where we're going to share recent or upcoming book releases in sci-fi, fantasy, and romance we're excited about. Books for today's episode will be released primarily between April 19th and May 2nd, 2022, or roundabouts there. But first, if you enjoy the podcast, we would appreciate if you take a moment to rate and review us so we can continue to reach more listeners. And if you are interested in getting early access to episodes and exclusive bonus content with every episode, consider supporting us on Patreon. Huge thanks to all of our supporting patrons, including our world-expanding patrons, Trina and Sarah. You all make what we do possible, so thank you for your support. And I just have 3 books today, so I don't know who else has anything they want to share.
I have some.
Okay, so my first one is coming out April 19th, Spear by Nicola Griffith. And Leanna, actually, I think you might like this. It's
Bold to suggest that I might like something.
I know, but
Wait, I thought she didn't like anything.
Occasionally she likes things. I suspect
I like Jade City.
Yeah, she does like Jade City. I suspect you might like this. So it's a novella that is a Arthurian retelling, but I think you would actually like this one. But it is gender flipped and queer, and it's from the perspective of a young woman who I think is supposed to be, I can't remember which one it is, but she's supposed to be a stand-in for one of the knights, and she ends up traveling dressed as a man. And
this was already done. It's called Guinevere Deception.
No, it's not. No. Guinevere Deception's not even very good. This is really good. The writing's really beautiful. It is it's really lyrical and I think better researched. Like she's actually done a lot of research into like the historical parts of it as well as the literary things that have been done before. But the main character, goes and fights and wins ladies' hearts and gets involved in magical things. It's great.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
I have one that is, what day is it out? April 19th. It's called Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. And this follows Reggie. She answers a job application and thinks it's for like a card game, but it's actually to be an apprentice to a witch. Like real magic. And I like other things I have read by Jessica Clare, so I'm excited to see this. She hasn't published under this pen name in a long time. I'm not going to say what her other pen name is.
Oh, Mara did on our last episode.
Oh, did she? Okay, well,
Yeah.
We suspect she's Ruby Dixon.
Yeah.
Never confirmed. So I just, one of those.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But yeah, I'm just really excited. It just sounds kind of fun and quirky. It's actually one of those like fun illustrated covers. They have facial details. But yeah, I'm excited to see what this one is like. And I am a sucker for witches, so.
Awesome. April 26th, we have Kaikai, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, something like that, by Vaishnavi Patel. This was actually a Book of the Month Club pick this month. It's a fantasy novel. Yeah, I did too. I've heard good things. It's a retelling of like Hindu mythology, I believe. It says a stunning debut from a powerful new voice. Kaikai is a tale of fate, family, courage, and heartbreak of an extraordinary woman determined to leave her mark in a world where gods and men dictate the shape of things to come. So there's been a lot of buzz around this one. I'm definitely interested in reading it.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
My last one that I have is Tanked by Mia Hopkins. It's out April 26th. If you have not read the East Side Brewery series and you like romance with not normal hero types. So our first hero has just gotten out of jail, was involved in some gang activity. These are set in LA. He's living out of a garage with a girl that lives with her grandma and her daughter. The kid is in the book like the perfect amount in the first book, but the third book we've been waiting for years for, and we're getting the final one of the third of the Rosa brothers, and it's just really good. They're really fun. They're really angsty. This one is about a fighter and this girl who just had her heart broken. She's like not sure if she can trust him. I'm very, very excited. I've been waiting for freaking ever for this book.
I love it. I'm realizing all 3 of my books this week are mythology retellings in some way. So the last one, April 26th is Electra by Jennifer Saint. This is a Greek mythology retelling featuring Clytemnestra, Cassandra, and Electra. where the house of Atreus is cursed, a bloodline tainted by a generational cycle of violence and vengeance. And this is the story of 3 women, their fates inextricably tied to the curse and the fickle nature of men and gods. So this is from the author of Ariadne that came out last year. I really liked that, so I'm excited to try this one as well. But yeah, all of those will be linked in the show notes or in the video description if you're watching us on YouTube. And this has been Chapter 3 Podcast. We are all of your hosts this week, which is very exciting. Izzy, Bethany, and Leanna. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Chapter 3 Podcast. And you can also find all of us on our individual YouTube channels, which will be linked in the show notes or in the video description if you're watching us on YouTube. The next episode will be available in 2 weeks. I will be back with Leanna and possibly a guest to talk about the first book in the Sun Eater series by Christopher Ruocchio, Empire of Silence, which is a sci-fi space opera, so that should be fun. Stay tuned for that. And this episode's bonus content will be available to patrons in the next few days. Thanks for listening.